Alright, so I'm going to be demoing one of the dishes for the midterm practical. This is going to be the grilled beef tenderloin with the green beans, and for this we're going to be doing green beans almondine and the tournée potatoes. And the tournée potatoes I've already gone ahead and made. I've made some very large tournée potatoes, and I'm just holding those in a little bit of melted butter with garlic. First thing I'm going to do is going to go ahead and get the tenderloin started. Usually takes the grill about half an hour or so to get warmed up. I've given it about 20 minutes, but I've gone ahead and put a cap on there. And as you can see, it's already pretty hot. Okay. My steaks. Season with salt and pepper. And you want to try to attain that nice round fillet shape as much as possible. Alright, so they should take about 8 to 10 minutes. I got my green beans already blanched off. And I've got some toasted almonds, which are kind of roughly ground. And I've kind of pre-toasted those off a little bit. So, get some extra virgin olive oil. A lot of extra virgin olive oil. Got my green beans, which have been pre-blanched in salted water. I'm also getting ready to do the béarnaise sauce as well. And I'm gonna get my flame of my double boiler. My butter is already melted. Put that off to the side. Got my tarragon vinegar. 2 ounces. Big pinch of salt. And unfortunately the grocery store did not have fresh tarragon, so as a substitute for the fresh tarragon, let's give that a shot. We're going to be doing dry tarragon, which I'm going to rehydrate into the vinegar as it's reducing. Put in about 6 cloves of garlic. Just sweat that off a little. And add my dry tarragon. Also going to go ahead and season the other side of the steaks. This is one you could definitely do in pieces. I would probably recommend getting the tournées done first, holding those, getting the beurre blanc done, holding that. Okay, so you're starting to smell that garlic a little. I'm putting my blanched and shocked green beans. Just toss those around. Not going to cook them too long over the flame. They have already been cooked. And just for a minute or two, and then I'll hold those in the warming oven as well. Alright, gonna check on my vinegar reduction. Can crank that up. Got my egg yolks ready to go. Got my wire whisk. More than anything right now, I'm really just kind of warming up the green beans. They're pretty much already cooked from the blanching process. Okay. Just going to give my steaks the first turn. If you remember from Culinary Skills 1, we talked about when you pick them up, putting them on a fresh area of the grill. That's going to make sure that you get those nice second set of sear marks. All right, green beans are nice and hot. Hold those in my warming oven. Come down here, good. My vinegar getting nicely reduced. And crank my double boiler up. Almost ready to start making the béarnaise. Doing that, I can go ahead and Get my table cleared off and sanitized for plating. Okay, how's that vinegar? Looking to reduce it down by about half. So still got another minute or so on that. Okay, traditionally your béarnaise would be made with your vinegar reduction, tarragon vinegar reduction, and then at the very end finish with fresh tarragon. But in this case, unfortunately, we weren't able to get our hands on fresh tarragon. So we're doing the dried instead and just rehydrating it. The butter, you'll notice, still has the buttermilk intact, which is good. That helps to thin it out a bit. And we will be looking for a little bit of a thicker sauce than the hollandaise that we made for the eggs benedict. If you're looking to check and see if you've got those marks, you can carefully lift the steak up. In this case I do, but if I hadn't, I could just put it back down exactly where it was and still keep those intact. All right, so I sort of got my nice second set of cross marks. Pick them up again, fresh area of the grill. Okay. And sometimes with it foaming that much, you got to kind of take it off the flame. But all right, looks like it's just about reduced by half. And you could also have your shallots and things like that in there as well. You can strain the shallots out if you want. I personally like to leave them in. I like the little acidic crunch that you get from biting into the shallots, but it's all personal preference. Over the double boiler. Double boiler's nice and hot, so you want to be pretty careful because it can go from 0 to 60 here really fast. Okay. Remember, this is what's called the ribbon stage. So when you pass that, whisk through, and it holds for 3 seconds or so. And at this point, that's already pretty much good to go. So we're going to bring over our pot. I'm also going to go ahead and grab a little bit of that water in case I need to thin it out. Going to get my butter. Just before I get started on this, just give those steaks just another check. Let's go ahead and give them that last turn. Then I'll be able to take them off by the time I get finished with the sauce. All right. Let's see. Get a second damp cloth. That's going to help the bowl not to move around and as quiet as much. And then pretty much immediately start adding in the butter. Feel like it's starting to get a bit too thick. Just grab a little bit of that extra water that you saved, thin it out. Remember, with emulsions, the more fat you add, the thicker it's going to get. So it's not a bad idea to just thin it out earlier rather than later. Okay. There's the béarnaise. Go ahead, give it a little taste.